Before my bill pulled over, suicide in Southwest. Stop!
Alright, currently enter Thompson. What location?
We're southbound. I got one space. Stop right there. Fourth shot. What's that? Fourth shot.
What's on towards Scotto?
So second by.
Shit! Fuck! Fuck! Sir! Send H. 14911E, I need HFD here. I just got wrecked out. Scott and Reed, one male patient, not conscious, not breathing, has bleeding from the head. Sir, wake up, sir.
Welcome back, my PBM family. Welcome back. Another episode of Old School Cops. I got my boy Tone, who's been on the job for many years. He worked Rikers Island. He was a police officer, detective. He worked gang investigation from the community. Real smart. When it comes down to the people I have on the panel, I like to let you guys know, like, there's some that I have on the panel that I respect their viewpoint, and the others, I just bring them on because of their years of experience. These two guys, I respect their viewpoint because of the work they've done, and they're from the community. So that's Tone, and also, you guys know Ted. He was a Memphis police officer. Then he went over to the DEA, had a real long career in DEA. He's probably the most senior guy in law enforcement that I know. I've been on national television with him. He's done really well. So I do respect his viewpoint, and I'm glad to have him on the panel today. As you can see on this particular video, you had an officer responding, lights and sirens, to assist another officer who sounded like he was in some sort of pursuit. Now, you gotta understand, when you're responding to an officer needs assistance, you throw the lights and sirens on, that don't mean you could just go 100 miles an hour up the road. You're still, when it comes down to public safety, that comes first. You have to do it in the most safest manner as possible. I was looking at this officer, the way he was driving. He was going extremely fast. It was raining. Looked like he hit the curve. Then he hit an individual. He got out, ran over to the individual. Sir, he called for assistance, but I didn't see him applying any first aid. I think when it came down to his negligence, me personally, how reckless he was, I think he should be charged criminally. That was it looks like he might have killed somebody. You can't, because you got lights and sirens on, just step on the gas and just not have regards for public safety. That's not how it works. When you come into a stoplight, stop sign, you actually supposed to slow down, look both ways, make sure it's clear, and then go through. I didn't see no slowing down for this guy. This guy just floored it, and it was raining at that. He's disregarding public safety. He didn't care. He was just so zoned out trying to get to assist this other officer in what sounded like some vehicle pursuit, foot pursuit that was happening. You can't do that. Now, him as an officer, not only that he took somebody out, possibly killed somebody, he's no good to assisting the other officers. So all the way around, bro, this dude gets an F. And, after looking at this video, I think he should be held accountable on a criminal aspect, because it's not like I just made a mistake. I was trying to do a good job and an accident happened. That dude was just recklessly driving at a high rate of speed, disregarding public safety. It was raining, and the dude looked like he killed somebody. Tone, what do you think?
Wow, Joe, that's a great point. And he's gunning his foot on the pedal in the car. Is his intentions to hit a person? Does he want to harm somebody? I don't think so. But is he qualified to do the job? You have to be aware of your surroundings, what you're doing. You just can't blow through stop signs. And once again, if you hire unqualified people, it's tough. And whether it's driving a car or using deadly force with a firearm, how do you gauge the fear of an individual using a firearm, or how do you gauge how someone is the perception of danger operating a vehicle through a community? These are great points. And the police department or nationwide law enforcement have to figure out, how do we measure these things? Because it's easy to say that someone was responding to somewhere with the good intentions, but yet he didn't have the qualifications to get there. So these are real tough questions of how we do that. But again, it goes to we have to look at the training. We have to look at the training of what they do, but we have to look at the actions. And if how was his record in EVOP training, emergency vehicle, occupational vehicle, the training? How did he perform? What is his history? But again, it's a hard question to how you gauge fear or danger to a community as you protect it. And this is a real tough question for law enforcement. And it's sad, but it's a reality.
Yeah, and you made a good point, because a lot of departments now are going to a no pursuit policy just because of that. You know, is it worth a kid stealing the car, then the officer chasing him 100 miles an hour through a residential neighborhood, and a possibility is high, or the risk is high, of you striking somebody, killing them, for property, stolen auto property? Like, we got to try to weigh out exactly, like, is it worth it? And then this particular officer, he was reckless. Like,
he was reckless.
The weather,
he was really reckless.
The weather should have dictated, like, yo, I can't drive at least as fast as I would like to, because I lose more control in the rain. Ted,
but
tell me what you think.
Joe, wait. Before you go to Ted, let me just go back. I remember when you was a new officer and you're driving through the streets of Richmond, and you had an old veteran. Yeah, you had an old veteran with you, and you're flying through the streets, and y'all were responding to a call. I can't. This was so long ago. I can't remember the nature of the
call. It was a shots fired call. I remember.
You may embellish. Please,
I'll
Joe,
never
embellish.
forget this call.
You're going to that call, and you're blowing through stuff, and the police, the old cop, who's a friend of ours, and he's a good guy. He said, "Yo, stop the car. I'll get out. I'll walk back to the precinct." You go, Joe. You never at one point came close to hitting anybody. You were driving very fast in the streets. You were conscious of what you were doing, but he felt something about it. So, Joe, can you elaborate?
Yeah, thanks for blowing me up, right? Thanks, I appreciate it. So it was in my first year on the job, right? I was young, and we was responding to a shots fired call in the community. Now, at this point in time, I was getting really good collars, making good arrests, taking guns off the street. New guy, energetic, filled what they call blue flame. You got the fire. Just, you want to be involved in everything. So the lieutenant intentionally came to me, said, "Look, I want to put you in with some of the older guys. They got a lot to share. So just, listen to them and see if you can learn something from them." So here you got a guy, year on the job, who's for the past few nights was getting involved in stolen autos. I was chasing people with guns, recovering guns. They give me a guy who got 20 years on the job. He's sitting in the passenger seat. He's laid back. My beat, when you come out, you take pride in controlling your beat, not letting nothing happen on your beat. What we hear? Shots fired call. And that's not a lights and sirens. That's not lights and sirens. But what did my young ass do? I throw the lights on. Whoa. Start flying. I hit the corner, and he said, "Slow down, pull over." He got out the car. He said, "I'm gonna walk back to the precinct. You're gonna fucking kill somebody if you don't slow down." So I was like, all right, you're right. I saw it. He said, what the fuck you got your lights on for? What are you doing? He said, slow down. So he got back in the car. I turned the lights out. And I, I drove to the car, but it was nowhere near like I originally started driving. But that's another thing that these guys now that's coming out, they don't have young guys telling them that. I learned a lot riding with this guy. At first, I was just like, you got this old lazy ass guy who put his time in. He don't want to fucking work anymore. Now he wants to slow me down. I was like, oh, I can't stand it. So by the end of the night, I start understanding like, yo, dude, the department don't care about you, bro. They love you. You making them look good. Your lieutenant is going in front of Constat with all your good arrests. As soon as you hit somebody, they going to throw you to the wolves. They're not going to remember all the good shit you did. They are going to throw you in as soon as you mess up, that's it. Everything you've done just got thrown out the window. He said, don't let them do that. You like the job. I know you like the job. You like locking up I know it, right? You like making a community much safer. You like taking a guy off the street who got a gun. All the things that you signed up for, you're doing. But you got to slow down. That's what you don't see day in and day out now. You don't see the old school guy schooling the younger guys on how to get through safely without messing somebody up, messing himself up. So, Tone, thanks for, just put me on blast.
Yeah. Oh, and just one thing, last thing, Ted, that's Joe's version. From what I know, the other cop, he walked back to the precinct and never
no, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
I'm just joking.
Letting him walk back. I was not letting him walk back to the precinct. Then I had to explain that. I told him, I said, I'm sorry, get back in the car. Yeah. I didn't want to have to explain why he walked back to the precinct. Oh, man. He was actually a cool situation, guy.
Yes, he was.
Hey, man, look, we all been there, man. We all been there. I had a couple of old heads pull me back a couple of times. I said, hold up, wait, we're not going to go to the bank, hold up, bank robbery. Hold up, stop the parking lot. Wait till everybody else show up. Then we're going to all go in at the same time. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But this young fella, I feel sorry for him because, obviously he's a young guy. I'm surprised that these guys aren't riding to a car, but I understand nowadays things are different. You gotta gauge, like you said earlier, when to turn that blue light and siren on. To be honest with you, when somebody's chasing somebody, it's best not to have the blue light and siren on sometimes because you can see more and get there quicker by not having it on. Because folks will, people get in your way when they hear the sirens and they see the blue light. They're trying to get out of your way, but in essence, a lot of them are still in your way. I feel sorry for them. The circumstances aren't good. I don't know that it would warrant him being charged, Joe, because if the guy was in the street, then there's nothing you can do about it. But his speed would be a factor in what they might charge him with. And I'll say this. A guy was calling for help one night, worked a midnight shift in Memphis, and I was riding by myself. He's calling for help. And there was a female, actually. And I went under a viaduct. That's where you got an overhead railroad track or a street. The light was green when I went under the viaduct. By the time I got up there, it was red. And I locked it up. And I locked it up hard. I locked it up so hard, I started spinning. And I closed my eyes. I said, okay, Lord, I guess it's time for me to go. So I did 2 turns, but I didn't get past that red light. I'm telling you right now, I locked it up because I didn't know it was on the other side of that red light. And I knew I didn't have enough time to slow down and look. But that's because we were trained right. We'll say that again. They trained us. They showed us how to handle a car and what to do and what not to do. And many times, let you make some mistakes and then give you an assessment afterwards. So it goes back to the same thing again. These young guys are caught up in that anxiety and excitement about getting to a place to help somebody out. But you first got to get there. So I'm gonna give him a D-. I'm not gonna give him a complete F. But it depends on the circumstances. In this instance, he's just rolling, and unfortunately, I don't know about you guys, but I've seen some folk who've been hit by cars, and it is never pretty. Never pretty.
No.
You never forget it either. I mean, I didn't hit the guy, and I still remember the ambulance drivers coming over and straightening this guy's arms and legs out to get him on the gurney. I mean, I thought it was a pile of trash in the street, and it was a person. So I can understand what it's like to come on that, but at the same time, I don't know if it's a good idea, Joe, if you're the person who hit this person, I don't know if it's a good idea to try to get this guy to do CPR because you're still dealing with the shock of what you just did. So I don't know if there was a good thing for asking to do chest pumps for him. I think that the guy who got there first should have done that and let this guy calm down because realistically, even if you looked at him, his hands were in the wrong place. They were below his chest cavity instead of being on top of his chest cavity.
Yeah.
Even with his boobs, that's where he should have been. But instead, he was down low. So just offer that as a word to the wise. When you're engaged, when you're involved in something as critical as that, like the guy who just got involved with a shootout, you wouldn't put him in the car and send him off to go find a perpetrator. He just shot somebody. Let's just leave him right here. The rest of y'all go take care of business. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the only thing is he didn't even check for vitals or nothing. He just didn't do anything. And the reason why I said the criminal charges, when I looked at this video, it looked like he started braking and went on the actual sidewalk. I don't think that guy was in the street. It looked like the car went on the sidewalk.
You think so?
And then that's when the actual pedestrian made contact to the windshield. Because when you heard him curse, his car jumped the sidewalk. And that's when you hit. So if it was in the street, I can agree with you on that. But if it was in the sidewalk, bro, I don't have no problem a reckless endangerment charge or something of that nature.
But Joe, to that point, did he mean to do that? Is the hardest part.
Did he what?
Because he failed to do what's right.
No, he didn't.
It's a hard thing. And to Tech's point,
I don't think. When
you engage in something, you should not engage in the rescue part because you are traumatized yourself. So I mean, y'all are both making good points. I mean, it's just a hard thing to where, did he do the right thing? No. Did he mean to do it? No. But did his behavior cause it? Yes. So I get it.
Tone, you made a good point one time when we was talking about a reckless endangerment charge. There's no intent to do that, but your actions was so reckless it caused the death of an individual. And then you made a good point one time. You was like, if me and you are working on a roof and we're laying brick on the roof doing the chimney, and I say, yo, throw me a brick. Instead of you walking it over, you throw it. It passes me. It goes down, strikes somebody's head, and kill them. Should you be criminal? No, you didn't have intent, but your actions was reckless to cause that death.
Now, to that point, is the training a part of throwing a brick over or driving on a road that you mistakenly went off of? I got you. I understand what you're saying. I'm supposed to drive and I veered off and made a mistake, but I'm not supposed to throw a brick over. So I got what you're saying. That's what I'm saying.
So there was I don't think any officer would intentionally mow somebody down in that manner because there's nothing good that's going to come behind that. But prior to you killing this guy, what are you driving that fast on the wet roadway? No slowing down. I guarantee you his training doesn't support that type of speed.
I will say this. If he was watching Lethal Weapon the night before and said, you know what? there's cars parked and there's traffic. No, y'all guys know. And he drove on the sidewalk and I'm going to get around the traffic and get over and cross the traffic and get back onto the highway, past the light and make it. And you hit somebody, your ass out of luck.
Okay, let me ask you something.
I'm gonna say ouch because I didn't hit nobody. I drove on the sidewalk. I'm gonna say ouch, but I didn't hit nobody.
It's no harm, no
but y'all get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I want his ass criminally charged. If he jumped on the sidewalk and hit somebody, I want him criminally charged. Yep. If he was in the street, then I that's fine. There's no criminal element there.
if he jumped on the sidewalk with intent to go on the sidewalk to elude traffic, to go around traffic to pursue, then I got a problem. But if he made a maneuvering error and bang and went over there, you know, it's an accident.
If you use that same analogy to fatalities, where people get charged all the time with reckless driving and vehicular homicide, like you get drunk and smash into somebody, you didn't intend to do it. You was trying to get your ass home, but you killed somebody in the process.
Yeah, we had a female officer here in Atlanta that was doing about 60 miles an hour in a neighborhood street, and I believe she hit a child and killed him. And they did charge her. They did charge her because it was really excessive speed, and I think somebody was calling for backup or something, but she was just driving too fast, and a child came out in the street on a bicycle or something that she hit and struck and killed him. So they did charge her though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
residential area, like two-lane road.
And when you
Ted, what was the outcome?
She got charged. It took them a whole year to charge her.
And then what happened after?
You know, I don't recall whether she got. I think she pled. She pled to something a lesser offense and was terminated, if I'm not mistaken. But you know, most of the cities are now self-insured, so you know it comes out of the city's budget when they. When they get like that, and it's
hey, that's a whole nother episode. That's a whole nother show. Joe, you know, Ted, you know, yes, we can talk about that all night long.
All night long. You're right about that.
Yes.
All right, my PBM family. Thanks a lot. Shout out to Kendra Pringle for sending in a bunch of videos to the DM. I appreciate the support. Please continue, copy, share, and subscribe. Spread the message, because when we talk and save lives, your win is in the courtroom. Do not fight on that side of the road. Take it to the courtroom. You do not win on that side of the road. The officer has the home court advantage. So please, to balance out the fight, take it to the courtroom. Be safe. See you next video.